is as to our session today, and someone said landing site data jobs.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if it's your strength, but if you can, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Someone said approach to getting inside and outside IR35 rules. So I think this person already understands the fact that there's something called IR35. So that's a plus. Any other person? That's from Samuel. And Martin said landing side data jobs.
I'd like to see more of those coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so someone says understanding the intricacies around IR35 rules. So I think some persons already have an idea as to okay, there's something called IR35, which I think is good. It gives us a sense of what our current understanding of tech contracting or consulting is. So I think it's 7:40 now. So can I hand over to you, Kara?
Sure.
All right.
Sure.
Thank you very much for being here.
If Justin, if you have more of those comments of what you like to get out, it would help. So just let me give you another couple of minutes to put them in the chat. Where do we target for consultants? Okay, yeah, just put more comment. At least it would also help me to ensure that I touch on these things while I'm talking. And obviously there'll be question and answer session. But it would help in initial conversation. Can I also ask, since it would help me definitely if we can put our videos on, put our cameras on, so at least we can. It makes the conversation easier. It becomes more like a face-to-face conversation. So, except you are in the toilet or you're. So please, yeah, it would help quite a lot if you put your videos on, so I can see your faces and you obviously can see mine. Thank you. Some people are still joining. Getting the relevant for ones and not getting the data for someone. It's harder. Yeah, okay. I can see some tricky questions already.
Sorry, I might have to join from my laptop. I'm just setting up my system around here.
Okay, that's fine. Should we give you a minute to join from your laptop?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll hold on. When I see you join back after Rahman Najani, I'll start.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
And whilst we wait for Abdurrahman, you can drop me in the chat. So what, for those who are already working in tech, what roles are you what's your role? What are you working? What area of tech are you working in? You can drop in the chat section. If you're already working in tech, what area? Cybersecurity, okay. I don't like security. I don't like security. I don't like networking. Data analysis, okay. Getting closer to home. Who else? What other roles are people working on? Product owner, okay. EPR and EPOS. Business analyst, good. Okay, I'm waiting for. Yeah, there you go. Abdurrahman has joined, so let's kick off. Right. Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Yeah, good evening, everybody.
Good evening. And for those who haven't put their cameras on, are you shy or you don't want us to see your face? Cloud. Okay. So my name is Carol. Let me give you a brief history about myself. I came into the UK almost 20 years now. Goodness. It's been a long time. And I, as probably with most of you, I was in Nigeria. I was in uni in Nigeria, and then I decided to come here. I did my undergraduate. I did my undergraduate in computing science, and then I did my master's at Oxford in software engineering. So at the time I left Nigeria, as usual, ASU was on strike. I was in second year studying maps. So I left, dropped it all, and started again really from first year, and did a placement. Did a placement here. I don't know if some of you understand about the sandwich course. So a placement, a sandwich course in the UK universities is basically normally universities in the UK are 3 years. So you take a year out after your second year. You take a year out and you do like a placement. You find a job with a company, and at that company you get to work with professionals. You work with professionals. You get a real life experience. So after the second year that I did the placement, after working with professionals, I had a lot of experience, and I then went on for my final year, did my final year, and it was really good because that experience working with professionals and then going to your final year does really help. It helps you to push your grades. It helps you to ensure that having worked in a real life experience, you're able to then put into practice when it comes to the theoretical side of things. So I did that, then finish my undergraduate, then did my master's. I did my master's part-time. Also, let me just add, when I did my in my final year, after I'd obviously done my placement, I got a job. Whilst I was writing my exams, final year exams, I got a job with the company that I did my placement with. So it helped things a bit easier. It helped get a job. So by the time I finished my exam, I literally had, say, I finished my exam on a Thursday. They wanted me to start on a Monday. I was like, you know what? I've had like crazy 3 months leading up to my exams. I don't want to start immediately. Give me 2 weeks break. Let me just relax. So I did, and started the job. And that obviously helped me because I'd done a placement and I was familiar with the company and some of the people there, and that helped me to settle a bit. So then I did my master's, and once the master's was done, I carried on working at the same company for a few years. Then I started moving about into different companies. I started off as application support analyst, and then I moved in the same company, changed roles in the same company. There was an opening for a data warehouse developer. So I went into data warehousing as a developer. Still permanent. I was still a permanent employee at the time. And then from there, I left the company. I spent about 8 years in total in the company. I went to a different company as a data solutions consultant. And then I left there, then went to an insurance firm. At an insurance firm, I was almost like a senior data analyst, and it was then that I then switched to being a contractor. After I'd seen people working as contractors, seeing the benefits of being a contractor. So I went from being a permanent employee in the company to being a contractor. And it's kind of weird because normally you see contractors switching to be permanent employees. It's difficult for you to say, okay, tell the company, okay, I want to switch from being a permanent to a contractor, and they accept. But at the time, I was working on a project, IFRS 17 project at the time, and there were lots of contractors from other consultants, also from Accenture and PwC. So when I went to the project manager or the program manager at the time and said, look, I was already working on the project. I said, look, I'm working on this project. What do you think? I want to move into being a contractor. I had already got a job offer at the time, so I used that as my bargaining chip. Let me just put down a note so I can remember to talk about this. So I used that as a bargaining chip. So we had this conversation, and he was like, yeah, he's fine for me to switch into being a contractor. Then he spoke with my manager. He went to HR, discussed with HR. HR said, okay, that I'll have to take 2 weeks off, take 2 weeks out of the job, and then come back as a contractor. I said, fine. So I went back in as a contractor. I contracted there for about a year plus, and then maybe 2 years, or maybe just over a year. And then this whole 2020 came. It was the whole. Then the government brought in this legislation about IR35. So the contractors, then the company had to did a blanket inside IR35 for contractors, because most of the companies were scared. They didn't really understand. They didn't want to take the risk on IR35, so they just did a blanket thing. So I was FTC, fixed term contract for a while. Then I left the company, went to another company, went for more money, and I left there, then came back to another insurance firm as a fixed term contractor, and then again, once that contract ended, I switched into being a contractor, and I've been a contractor since then. So let me just start first by talking about this. I've talked about being a permanent employee. I've talked about being an FTC fixed term contract, and I've talked about being a contractor. Let me just talk about the differences in between these three roles. A permanent employee, obviously, you're a permanent employee of the company. You're taxed as a PAYE. You pay as you earn, and basically, you get your pay. Before you get your pay, the government takes their tax, and your contract with that company has no end date. So that's why it's called your permanent employee. You don't have an end date, so you're just employed until you say you're leaving, or you're really bad at the job, and the company says, you know, you're really terrible, get out. Or maybe the company is losing money, and they're trying to cut costs and all that, so they make some people redundant. But otherwise, you can work at that same company for 20, 30, 40 years if you want, being a permanent employee. In the middle, it's been a fixed term contract. So, and I kind of call it the worst of both worlds, because you're not really a contractor. You're not also a permanent employee. The contract you have with the company is fixed term. So mostly it's like for 1 year. So you don't really get the perks of being a contractor, and you don't really get the longevity and like security, job security, being an employee. So your contract is for 1 year, or 6 months, or maybe 2 years or so, whatever the contract is. So you're very limited being a fixed term contractor, and you're also taxed in the same way a permanent employee will be taxed. So you're not really getting much benefit there. But I had to do that at the time because I didn't want to go permanent, crossing over from being a permanent employee. I didn't want to go permanent, and I was kind of watching the market, seeing what the market was going to say at the time. Now, contracting, which is the main is you're employed. So you, as a contractor, you're basically self-employed. Yeah, you're self-employed. You're working as a contractor. So the company employs you to do a job. Most contracts will be around for 6 months or maybe 1 year. And there's high tendency, depending on the projects that the company is working on at the time, to roll it over. So after 6 months, they extend your contract. After 6 months, they extend your contract, and so on and so forth. The contract I'm working on at the moment ends in June. And if I don't find something else, I would move on, or they renewed my contract. And I've been at the company now for about 3 years plus, and it's been a rolling contract. So the good thing about being a contractor, and I will always advise people to do that, because at the end of the day, you are when you came to the UK, you knew that there was London Bridge, you knew that there was a Tower Bridge for those who are in London or stayed in London. But you didn't come to look at the bridge, you came to make money at the end of the day. You came to get a good life so you can support yourself and support your family. There's nothing wrong being a permanent employee, but you will move at a quicker pace in terms of financials if you're a contractor than being a permanent employee. You will move at a much faster pace, almost like at least double. So if you were to get, let's choose a round figure, 50K in 1 year. If you're a permanent employee, you probably get that in 1 year. As a contractor, you get that in 6 months, or maybe even less. Now, at this point, let me put this caveat. I'm not a tax advisor. Just talking to you as friends. I'm not an accountant. So I have to say this because of the Financial Conduct Authority. The advice, whatever advice I give you, I'm not giving you any tax advice. I'm just talking to you. If you understand what I'm saying, because I'm not registered as a Financial Conduct Authority. But so this advice I'm giving you, you have to check. If you decide to go into it, you have to check with your accountant to ensure that it's the right thing for you to do. As a contractor, like I said, you work as you're self-employed. So as self-employed, you set up a company, and the company you're working for pays your company at the end of maybe the week, or mostly it's generally end of a month, every month. So you raise an invoice and they pay your company. Yeah. And then you, being the director or sole director of the company, you basically are then you've got the powers to decide, how much do I want to pay myself? So you can decide to pay yourself everything, or you can decide to do it in a more tax efficient way. So in a tax efficient ways, and for contracting, the pay sort of like range depending on your experience, depending on the role you're doing. The pay range is probably round about from maybe around 400, 450 pounds a day to about 1,000 pounds, sometimes even 1,100 pounds a day. I like this guy's face. I like the way your face.
My brother, 1,000 a day.
Up to about 1,001 a day. 1 day, yes. So and that's what you get paid. So, and that money goes into your company. And then you decide how much you pay yourself. The best way to go about it, again, I'm not giving you a tax advice. You have to speak to your accountant when the time comes. your accountant will tell you is to pay yourself the minimum wage. Yeah, pay yourself the minimum. Some may say like 25,000, and you do the remaining dividend. The reason is because so that you don't pay high tax. So if you pay yourself the minimum wage as a salary and take the rest as dividend, you can go up to about 50K. And the tax is a lot lower than if you were getting the whole 50K as a salary. So you pay yourself minimum wage as salary, and then the rest in dividends. Both the salary and the dividends shouldn't really go past 50K. If you go past that 50K mark, then you start paying higher taxes. So you pay yourself the minimum wage and you pay the rest in dividends. Then you try as much as possible and don't go rogue about it to ensure that most of your expenses are run through the company. So for instance, if you buy a phone, you're running the company now, you're a business owner. Yeah. The phone is a business phone. You're using it for business. You're using it to contact your clients. As a company, you should be able to contact your clients. So a phone is a way to contact your clients. That phone is an expense on the business. You will deduct it from the 1,000 or 500 you get paid a day. Or for, let's say at the end of the month, you get £10,000. That phone gets deducted. You will not be charged tax on it. If you buy a laptop, you need your laptop to work. Your laptop is an expense on the business. If you travel from your house to your workplace, the office, it's traveling expense. If you buy coffee or lunch or something, these are expenses on the business. If you work from home, you can expense some of your utility bill at home because you're using your home as an office. There are quite a lot of things that you can, like I said, don't go rogue about it. Don't go to club and go and say, but you have to do it within them. So before you know what, most of the expenses, your personal expense, you're running them through the business. You're legally, like, you can run them through because they are things that you would have done anyway. Yeah. But they are just, if you can't justify them as a business expense, run it through the business. By the time you know what, you've taken your 50K, you're paying minimal tax, and you've got a good chunk of your expenses run through the business. What you're left with is, again, obviously you have to pay corporation tax. So corporation tax, by the way, I think, oh goodness, I didn't check this. I think it's 19 or 20%. That if your company is making, I didn't check this. You guys check it. Check the threshold. If a company is making, I think, over 50 or 250 in profits, then it goes to 25% or something like that. But still, regardless, you'll be paying a lot less. And then, because you've got quite a lot of your expenses through the business, you're getting paid, pay minimal tax. You're able to save more. And like I said, you can get financially, you can get to your target place a lot quicker being a contractor. Think about it this way. Say you're a business analyst, and a business analyst is earning 50K a year as a permanent employee. And then you get that same business analyst, same skill set, same everything, you run it as a contractor. And say, let's say they're paying you £500 a day. £500 a day, if it's £500 a day and you have, let's do this calculation, say roughly about 250 working days in a year, that's 125,000. So let's say, because obviously you still get like 1 month holiday with your as a permanent employee. So if we deduct 20 working days from 250, so you have 230. If you work for 230 days on £500 a day, you would get £115,000. That's what they pay you. So the same skill set, same person. As a permanent employee, you get £50,000. As a contractor, you'll be getting well over £100,000 in a year. In that £15,000, the government will take the tax before you get it. In the £100,000, you're basically telling the government what tax you pay. Most of your expenses will be deducted even before it gets taxed. So there is no way. It's almost like the job you would do as a contractor, or the pay you would get as a contractor in 4 or 5 months, is what you would get as a permanent employee for a year. So from a financial point of view, you cannot compare it. It's almost like you cannot compare. And if you not get to your point, you're getting 550 a day, 600, 700 a day, 800 a day, 900 a day, £1,000 a day, you're smiling. And these things, I'm saying to you, it's not. I'm not telling you rocket science. I'm not telling you what is. The more you look at abracadabra, this is real stuff. That's the reason I told you about my brief history, was because I'm no different to you. Some of you are a lot smarter than I am. Yes, I went to Oxford. I may have got a first class in my undergraduate, but I'm sure some of you here would probably do the same. So I don't have two heads. And because I don't have two heads, that I've done it means you also can do it. Yeah. So these are the things that are achievable. And obviously there are pros and cons to everything. So Adeyinka has posted, in the UK, corporation tax for company profits as of financial year first is 25%. The rate applies to companies with profits exceeding 250,000. There you go. For companies on 50,000 or less, you get 19%. Yeah. So thank you, Adeyinka. So it's very possible. It's very possible to do. All you have to do is set your heart and your minds to it. Obviously, with contracting, there are pros and cons to everything in life. It's not. If it was very easy, everyone would have done it. With a contractor, there are risks. Like I said, with a permanent employee, you've got a job for life until you get another job, and there's job security. With a contractor, there is no job security. You literally have 6 months contracts. If you're working on a project that finishes, or they don't like your face, or they don't like the way you smile, or whatever, after 6 months, you're out of a job. You have to look for another job. But if you know what you're doing, they will roll over the contract and keep extending. I've worked with someone who was on the contract with the same company for 11 years solid. 11 solid years. He was with a contract, on a contract with the same company. He didn't switch companies, with the same company. With like I said, there are pros, and with contracting, you don't have the job security. You can lose. You can lose. Even with contractors, they can give you 2 weeks notice and say, okay, yes, thank you very much. The company I work in now, I know a guy who was given 2 weeks notice. He wasn't good at his job. He wasn't good at what he does. So they gave him 2 weeks notice and basically told him to leave. So he had to go and look for another job. But the risk I would take is that I know if I work for 4 months as a contractor, it's the same as working for a year. Maybe even longer than that. So if I'm able to do this work for 4 months, even if it's, let's say, 4 months, even if the worst case happens and they say, okay, thank you very much, we're not extending your contract, I still have enough, and I've got 6 or 8 months, maybe 7, 8 months in the year, maybe, yeah, between, say, yeah, 7 to 8, well, even let's say even 6 to 8 months in a year to look for another job. I mean, you can't be that bad that you can't get another job within 6 to 8 months as an IT person, because right now there are lots of opportunities out there for in the IT role. Yeah, so that's how I see it, and you have to take some calculated risk, and ensure that, okay, at least you'll be covered. I know people who, maybe some of them are married, the husband is contracting and the wife is permanent. So when one is out of a job, at least you're that guy. So as a fail safe thing. So or if you're like me, you can just take the take the risk and go on. Solomon said, from contracting during downturn or restructuring, contractors are the first to go. That's right. But when the company is going through financial difficulty, contractors are the first there. And companies they prefer to get contractors because you are easy to sack. You've got a contract. Oh, thank you very much. There's no legal whatever. For you to get rid of a permanent employee, you have to make their role redundant. There are lots of legal HR stuff involved. So companies, and obviously companies don't like them saying, oh, this person made, or they made 10x or 20 jobs redundant. It's not a good PR for the company. So they prefer to get contractors who they can get rid of at any time. You're very dispensable as a contractor. The good thing is the truth. They see you're basically, you're there to do a job, and you're there to live. But if you before you get into contracting, for whatever role you're doing, ensure that you know it, and you know it well, so that you're not easily dispensable. Ensure that you know it and you know it well, so that if they are thinking of getting rid of people, they will think twice before getting rid of you. Make yourself indispensable to the company. Yeah, make yourself indispensable to the company. Be good at what you do. If you are diligent in what you do, you would enjoy being a contractor. With IT, no one knows it all. With IT, you need to really, there are lots of resources online. Udemy is there. You can so during lockdown, I did three or four certifications. I think within the space of about 3-4 months. I did the AWS, the first cloud practitioner. I did the associate solution architect. I did I did about 3. Then I did TOGAF. I did I think I did Azure as well, the foundation on Azure. So you can self-learn within IT. You can teach yourself these things. So what you feel that you don't know, go home, and with Udemy, for instance, you can buy the course, and the courses are really, really cheap. Well, if you see a course, by the way, I don't know if you guys know, if you see a course on Udemy or other for Udemy, I use Udemy. If you see a course on Udemy that says £100 or £200, don't buy it. Wait a few days, keep checking every single day. Before you know what, they will drop the price. It will come to about £19 or £15 or £20 or £30. It comes really cheap. And the way they do the course, they break it down so much that you can spend, the modules are like 30 minutes or 1 hour. So you can be on the train, your journey back and forth work, spend that time to study or to look at it. So it's and improve on whatever it is. There's nothing is rocket science in IT. Nothing is rocket science. If you think that something is proving too difficult, it's because you haven't set your heart into it. If you set your heart into it, nothing in tech is rocket science. There are some things that you may not like, and you basically like something else, but trust me, nothing is rocket science. If it's proving difficult, take your time, step back, relax, get a course, read the course, and you will see that you will get to understand what you're doing. Okay. So do, like I said, know what you're doing and do it well. As a contractor, you need to be friends with people you work with. You need to be friends with people you work with. You need to be an amiable person. If they're saying, okay, they are going to the pub, go to the pub with them. If you don't drink alcohol, drink Fanta or Coke or water or Sprite or whatever it is. But have a relationship with your work colleagues. And as contractor, most you will find that the contract you get will be based on referrals. Someone who you've worked with has left to another role in another company, a space has opened there. They'll say, "Oh, I work with this person," and obviously, once you start working with them, be friends with them on connect with them on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the LinkedIn is the place. As a contractor, LinkedIn is your field. Connect with them on LinkedIn. Have as many connections within your field or the different places that people that you've worked with. Connect with them on LinkedIn. Get your LinkedIn profile up to date. Brush it up. Take the nicest picture, and don't look really nice in your pic. And have your LinkedIn up to date. Your LinkedIn profile up to date, because that's where um, recruiters will go to first, even before they see your CV. They want to see your LinkedIn profile. So if your LinkedIn profile is not done properly and it's not brushed up, you have to go and do it properly. Okay. So be friends with people you work with. Be friends with them, and don't do, you know, there's this thing about Nigerians where it's a good thing, but we kind of do a lot of basbos. I will not take it. This person said this thing to me at work. I will give it back to them. As a contractor, don't do it. Be wise. Be smart. If someone is rude to you or even say something, even if you're going to push back on it, be very, very smart. Remember, you are very dispensable as a contractor. I worked with there was this project manager I worked with last year. She came to the company, and she was Nigerian. She was a project manager on the project I was working on, and the product manager, the product owner actually was in the wrong. He had sent her she sent him a message or a list of things that they needed to look at, and he didn't get back to her. So we had a meeting, and at that meeting, he was basically telling her, "Oh, this, that," and she was like, "Oh, I sent it to you," and obviously he didn't look at it. And sincerely, she was right and he was wrong. But she went on. She was like, "I sent it to you. I'm still what you didn't do." And she was at the meeting. I was like, "Oh my God, what have you done?" And she went on like ballistic, like, but she was in the right, but she went about it the wrong way. Lo and behold, within a month after that, she was gone from the company. She was a contractor. Try as much as possible to be wise in what you do. I've talked about knowing your work and knowing it properly. Be good at what you do. If you don't know your work properly, learn it. Google is there. There are lots of courses. Spend time to learn it. Be friends with people you work with. Be friends with them and no glass goes. Be very, very, very wise. Some people have been turning off their cameras. I can't see people's faces anymore. So yeah, get your LinkedIn profile. Get your LinkedIn profile done. LinkedIn has this premium thing that they do. I think it's £20 a month, but the first month is free. What you can do is get the free 1 month LinkedIn premium thing. Follow as many recruiters. Follow as many recruiters as possible. and connect with many recruiters within your field, and send them messages. As if you're looking to get contracted, obviously your LinkedIn profile is done. Send them a message, or I'm XYZ, I'm a business analyst, I'm a data analyst, I'm looking for this role, I've been working in this and blah blah. Even when if you're looking for a permanent job also or contracting, that's how you can get it. I'm just going to read a comment from. It'll be nice if we can all connect on LinkedIn and recommend one another to boost our networks. It's super. Yeah, that's fine. That's a good idea. If you read Chris Emeka's suggestion, that would be a good idea to connect and recommend each other. It does definitely boost your network on LinkedIn. So follow as many recruiters, IT recruiters, follow IT recruiters, and send them messages on LinkedIn. By the 1 month, you can cancel the free whatever. You can carry on if you happen to got a contracting job at the time. So I've talked about the risk of being a contractor. It's not all rosy. There is a bit of a danger in it, but if you're good at what you do, you're an amiable person. There will always be work for you. The other thing is, obviously, the country itself would go through times of difficulties, like in the COVID time. A lot of contractors were laid off and all that kind of thing. But it's come now, it's gone. Now the cycle is back in. Lots of jobs out there, waiting for you. Just trying to read what next do I talk about. So I've talked about average contracting pay. It can range from about £400 to about £1,000 a day. One thing about contracting you also need to know is about IR35. IR35 came into play. The legislation came into play around 2020. And the reason why the government brought in IR35 is because obviously a lot of people were getting into contracting, and the government thought that it wasn't fair, and they wanted contractors to also pay fair tax. So where people were working for the same company for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, some like 10, 11 years, the government felt that person might as well be a permanent employee instead of working as a contractor. So they were trying to cut down on contracting. So they brought in this legislation that the company will have to justify you being a contractor. But anyway, so that came in. So you would find some contracting roles that they will say inside IR35 or outside IR35. What you really want to get into is outside IR35. Now, it is not your job to say whether the role is inside or outside. The company or the recruiter who is contacting you will say, oh, is this role IR35 inside or outside? There are some jobs also that you would get that are inside, even whether it's inside or outside, even it's still better than being a permanent employee. But look at the if you get a contract that is inside, you would get you would need to go via an umbrella company. So basically, it's almost like you're getting employed. So say you get £500 a day. That £500 a day gets paid to another company. They call them umbrella company, and that umbrella company then pays you like a PAYE. But it's not as tax efficient as being outside. With outside, you're totally in total control of the company that you set up. So it's very easy to create a company in the UK, and you're in control of that, and that gets paid to you. So really, where you want to be is outside 35. Also, now you might need to check this with an immigration lawyer. I did a bit of research on it. I think if for you to be outside IR35 and own a company that can do contracts, it's like you being self-employed. So, i.e., you don't need sponsorship. So I think that might be a bottleneck if you need sponsorship in being a contractor. So, because if you're self-employed, it means that basically you've got the total rights, you've got the rights to work. You don't need anyone to sponsor you. You can create any company you want and use that to work. But I think if you're on, I'm sorry, I'm not really conversant with the tiers, tier 2 or whatever. If you need sponsorship, I'm not sure. Don't quote me on this. I'm not sure you'll be able to do create a company and work self-employed. But please check that. You might. The good thing about the UK is that information is readily available online. You can Google search or check with an accountant and that sort of thing. I'm just going to pause a bit to read some comments here. Okay, so for my Adeyinka's comment, what type of company do you form to use as a contract? It's so you basically create a company that you can like a management consulting, like a management company. That's one of the codes that you use. So create a company. They'll ask you what kind of roles or whatever. You just say management or IT. I've forgotten the. Let me check it quickly. 1 second. Come on. Yeah, so you can the SIC code, you can say information technology consultancy services or management consultancy. Either information technology consultancy or management consultancy. You can use either of those SIC codes in the company you create. I would like to ask the speaker if at any point he's had to combine a full-time job with a contract job. Is that possible in the UK? I'm aware. Yes, it's possible. So there are people because as a contractor, by the way, it's a full-time job. Yeah, they're paying you per day. But I know people. I didn't do it myself because I thought it was too much hassle. I didn't want to get into that anyway, especially in these IT remote jobs. You'll have 2 jobs. One as a permanent, one as a contractor. And they'll be doing those 2 jobs simultaneously. Obviously, the companies cannot know. I just think it's a bit too much. And like, I'm the kind of person I'm very, it'll be difficult for me to like start context switching between the different companies. You'll be in a meeting and you'll be thinking about your meeting in a different company or clashes. But people somehow managed to do it. But even now, companies are asking that you be on site maybe twice a week or 3 days a week. Some are still doing full-time remote, but it's difficult. And personally, I wouldn't do it because I think it will probably just drive me too crazy. I wouldn't do it myself, so I wouldn't say you should do it because. But people found a way to do that. I just thought it was too difficult, and I didn't even consider it at the time anyway. Yes, Solomon, you're replying to other. Yes, you need an accountant to help with your accounting, tax purposes, and all that. That's why I say you need an accountant to advise. But even if you look at accountants' fees, some accountants you'll be paying about 1,000 plus a year. So considering what you'd be getting afterwards is a lot beneficial. How easy is it to switch from contracting back to being a permanent staff in terms of recruitment? No. Like, is there a red flag for recruiters looking for permanent? No, there's no red flag at all. If you're a contractor, you want to go to permanent, there's no problem. No one can hold you against it. Um, I missed this from an introduction earlier on. I now work in data. My day job is being a data modeler or data architect. So data is my field. Drawing lines and boxes, ERDs, and all that, and structuring data, where data sits, and that sort of stuff is what I do on a daily basis. Also, I'm going to read a comment from Amoe. In your opinion, how is it? Okay, I've read that. So you can switch anytime. You can switch anytime you want. There's no red flag at all from being a contractor to a permanent employee. And Felicia is like, what's the actual recruitment process for getting an outside RI35 role? Is it the company and the individual verified? So what happens is that say a recruiter contacts you, or you get a recruiter, apply for a role and it says outside RI35. You do the interview as normal, and once they are happy with you, they offer you the job. At this time, you would have had your company set up, and then they say, okay, they'll ask you for your company details, and then you send them the company details. So they draw the contract between themselves and your company. You need to have some insurance, like professional indemnity and one other insurance. These are like insurance that are less than £500 a year anyway. So you need to have those two insurance in place. Or some other things that you can get as a contractor is insurance for jobs. So in case you lose your job, there's some insurance that covers you for that as well. Life insurance. Also try to get health insurance as well. It does help. Or private health insurance. You've got the money anyway, so might as well do it. So yes, so they'll sign the contract between the company and your company. They will check the company, obviously see that it's legit, and that's it. Then at the end of the month, they'll obviously at this time they'll discuss the payment process and the time of the date of the month that they'll pay. They'll send the money to you raise an invoice, or they might even do it on your behalf, depending on how you work. And you raise an invoice to the company, say, oh, I've worked on XYZ days, pay me my, and then they pay the money to the company. There are some outside roles that you work through another consulting company. So like the role, the company I work for, I don't work for the company directly. So again, that's how some companies have tried to protect themselves against IR35. So I work for an insurance firm. That insurance firm basically almost like a sub the contract, outsource the contract to another consulting firm. That consulting firm is the one that then has the contract with you, and the your payment will go through them, through that consulting company, and then you have agreed deliverables. This is how much work. So you agree with the manager that you're working in the company, the main company, that this is what they expect you to do, the deliverables for you in a month, and then you agree deliverables. You said, okay, I've done this. Again, it's just a way to cover themselves to say, okay, this person couldn't have been a permanent employee. That's why we're employing them as a contractor. These are just kind of paper and admin stuff that gets done anyway, and you carry on working there as a contractor. Another question: any concept or strategy where someone on a work visa can get into contracting part-time or full-time? Yeah, if you're on a work visa, I think if you don't need sponsorship, I think you should be able to get contracted. Basically create work as a self-employed, I contracted. But please do check this properly, in what context and where and when you can or you cannot have work as a contractor based on your visa. As a contractor, can I get Global Talent Visa? About today, I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know. Is it? I don't know. Does anyone know that? Or anyone has come across this? Can you get Global Talent Visa as a contractor? You can't. Okay, I'm always I'm aware you find our resident legal. They said you can't. Okay, can you provide links for tried and tested insurance companies, account recruiters? Okay, actually, let me tell you about insurance companies. If you're looking for jobs that pay, even whether being permanent or as an employee or contractor, insurance is an interesting industry to work in. They pay you round about the same as working in investment banks, but you don't get that much pressure like investment bankers. It's very slow. It's a slower pace industry, and also high paying. So if you're looking for roles or jobs, try insurance firms. Insurance firms are pretty cool. You'll be walking around, and they are kind of within the same space in London, around the Lloyd's market in the city, Fenchurch, around Fenchurch, Leadenhall Street, Bank, that sort of like square mile area. That's where most, if not all, of the big insurance firms, and the kind of insurance that it is not really like car insurance. These are insurance for multi-million pound buildings, aircrafts, yachts, big ship, and all like massive insure satellites, and it's very, very expensive. Not your day-to-day home insurance kind of thing, but obviously you can still work in those kind of companies. But yeah, if you want to get into that, you work in insurance, Abdul?
No, I work as an IT consultant in with M&G.
With what?
M&G on Fenchurch area.
In where?
In Fenchurch.
Oh,
That's
really?
the,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
that's where I work.
I
M&G.
work on Leadenhall. Maybe we should catch up on lunchtime also.
Yeah, fine.
I work in Leadenhall.
That's great.
So let me talk about LinkedIn again. Almost every single day, every other day, I get a message from a recruiter from LinkedIn. Almost every other day, I get message from recruiters. Oh, I've got this role. I'm looking for someone. So I'm the one same with you. I'm looking for someone. Do you know? And I literally just kind of, majority of them are like, I just turn them down because I'm not looking for. I'm in a contract. I'm happy with the contract, and maybe what they're offering is not even what I'll be interested in anyway. There are some roles, and they offer permanent, and they're permanent and contracting roles too. There are some permanent ones. I just see when I see the pay, I just laugh, and I don't even bother replying them. But it's bad. Always keep in touch with these recruiters, because you never know when they will have something that fits. I can take liberties, but I just don't reply some of them. But try to keep in touch with the recruiters. Meet with them for coffee, and just have a chat. And you never know what they will have in the pipeline that will come your way. I'm very interested in seeing how we can work something that for those who are looking for a job or looking for a role, whether being contracting or even permanent roles, you've got someone like even Abdurrahman that gets messages from recruiters every day. So it's like you really need to be in that position. If you brush up your LinkedIn profile, follow recruiters, send them messages. Once they are searching for certain things, your name would come up. And that's how you get these messages from recruiters. Another thing I want to talk about is this works for a lot for permanent employees, and it also works for contractors. The way you get higher, quicker in terms of finances is to move jobs. So say you're, I'm using business analyst a lot. Say you're a business analyst and you're on £500 a day, or even if you're permanent, you're on £60,000 a day. You've been in the company for 6 months or even 1 year. Be on the lookout. That's why all these messages from recruiters are be on the lookout. Recruiters will send you a message, or you be on the lookout, or you see an opening that pays, you see an opening, be on the lookout, apply for other roles. Your current employer doesn't need to know about it. Even when you're talking to the recruiters are also discreet. They don't tell anybody. It's just a conversation between you and them. They're very discreet about it. So when that role comes, they will ask you, so how much are you on at the moment? I'm on £500. What are you expecting? I'm expecting £550 a day. If you get the job, you've now moved from £500 to £50,000, to £500 to £550 a day. That £50 a day, extra a day, works out to be around, it's over 10K, or even 11,500 a year. That extra £50 a day. If you're there again for another 5-6 months, obviously, and along the line, you're learning different skills. You're working in different projects. You learn different skills and also honing on your skills. You are getting a lot more experience. You're able to then ask for more money. You've done £550 for a year and a half. You're on the lookout. Another project comes in or opportunity comes in. You've jumped on that. You've gone to £600 a day. You've done that for a while. You go to 700 to 650 a day. You haven't come to the UK to look at a bridge. You've come here for a reason. And you would also see that you find you have a lot more time to yourself. Sometimes I'm sat in this place, I'm sat in this study, I've done my work for the day. Maybe I'm working from home, and I'm just here. I'm just like, I've got quite a lot of things that I'm doing myself. Yomi will tell you, I'm also into property. I do property investment. So I basically take the money I get from contracting, put it into my property company, because where I really want to be at is to ensure that set up a system where I don't have to work. So the property companies that I have, or the properties that I have, I'm getting income from the properties, and basically I can decide, okay, I want to go to work today, or I want to just sit at home. I just want to go for holiday and just relax by the beach. I don't want to do any work. So that's, I'm letting you into my plan for what I want to do. So that's the ultimate goal for me. And I did a course, a training on property not too long ago, and the people that came both online and the one I did with Yomi, well, people that came offline, because we had a physical listening in Birmingham, and the one, I'm sure they learned a thing or two. So that's the plan. That's the plan I have, and I'm also trying to look at some other companies that I'm getting help from someone to acquire, to also help to get me into that position where I can relax and have money coming in from the businesses that and that system that I want to set up. Okay, so we've got two people with their hands. I would like you to put your video on before you ask your question, if that's okay. If you cannot, you can still ask anyway, but it would be nice to put your video on before you ask a question. First, it was Solomon.
Hi, good evening. Good
Hi,
evening,
sir.
everyone. Yeah, just a quick question, or just to get your idea.
Yeah.
everything you've shared so far, I think has been like good information and immense benefit. I don't know. I have experience in contracting. Okay. And I don't know. I think where I'm struggling with is for people that are starting, like, would you advise them to start straight up into contracting, or let them, or you advise them to get a permanent role first? Because permanent role, like you said, has its own benefit as well. From my experience, like, I've been contracting, and also at some point I had a permanent role. But when I was contracting, fine, I was making good money. Okay, but let's say an example now, I'll give the downside, one of the downside. When I wanted to get a house, it was very difficult being a contractor to get a house, like mortgage out. Even though I have the money, like, see, I told lenders, like, look at my account, I have money, like, but can I get a loan to get this house? No, they said no, because they need like you to show that you have a permanent role. Okay, like contracting, you have a company and all of that, you have this money there. But then they feel that's not guarantee. Like tomorrow you can lose your job. Like and that's their reason. They couldn't afford. They said you have to show consistently for like 3 years, 3 to 4 years or so, that you've been making profits. You understand? And like I don't have 3 years. I need to get the house. I cannot wait for 3 or 4 years to get the house. So like what would you advise? Like, would you say people that are just starting off get a full-time role, you know, time get the experience and everything before they move into contracting? Like you said, you started from full-time before you move into contracting. Would you say that's a good path to go? Or
Okay. Yeah, let me answer the question that you raised in the chat. Yeah, you can end your contract in the middle of it. You just give them a notice in the contract you have with them. You can, I think it's a month notice you give to them. So just give them a notice for 1 year, for 1 month, that okay, you're leaving that after 1 month, and then move on to the next one.
Okay.
Onto the other question that you raised. Yes, some lenders don't like to lend to contractors, and as you rightly said, they will need you to bring your tax overview and your for 3 years. Yeah. If you come on the property cost, you would say that there is no when one lender says no, another lender can say yes.
Yeah.
So what we try to do as contractors is try to ensure that you're paying yourself with your dividends and your salary at least 50K. Yeah, at least 50K. Yeah. That helps to show lenders that okay, you're getting 50K salary. Yeah. Some lenders, so I always go through brokers.
Okay.
Go through a mortgage broker. If you speak to a mortgage broker, tell them you're a contractor or whatever. They work the contractors, they do that all the time. They are able to get you a lender that will be happy to lend to a contractor. Yeah. I've gone through it myself. The bank said, okay, show us how much you're getting, show us the income from the business, the money that's coming into the company. I showed it to them, show how much you're paying yourself in salary. I showed it to them, show your tax overview for the year and your what's this other thing, documents that they get, and these you can get your accountant to help you to generate that. So send it to them, and yes, you can, because it's still a slight risk, you can still pay higher interest rates on the mortgage, but compared to being a permanent employee, you can't. It's too much of a gap. It's just too much of a gap. And I would still say stay on being a contractor. It's still more beneficial. Pay yourself around about 50K in a year, and that will serve as your income to show that you're getting paid. Maybe in the first year or so, if the lender says, oh, they need to be there for 3 years, you would definitely get another lender who would lend you a bit more expensive, but you can stay on that until you get the 1, 2 year, 3 years in that contracting, and then you can then move on to a more cheaper one. And for those who are starting, if you want to start as a contract, whether it starts as a contractor or not, yes, why not? I learned about contracting in I've done almost like 10 years working professionally before I found out about contracting. If I'd known, I would have done it a lot earlier. But maybe by now, I bought my house near the Queen's house in Buckingham Palace. I'm joking, but why not? See, contracting has its downsides. There is no job guarantee. There's no job security. But like I said, if you want to go into contracting, ensure that you know what you're doing. Not every contractor is really good at what they do. They just sometimes you just need to know how to wing it and get along and just do and be proficient enough in what you do. Yeah, just know it enough to get together, and the areas that you know yourself, you know what you know what you don't know. The areas that you feel that you are struggling, teach yourself. With contracting, no one is going to take you to for a training or whatever. You have to do all these things. Again, that's one of the things that you lose being a contractor. But you can £20 on Udemy, sit at home and do these things yourself. It's not going to take long.
Yeah, okay.
John, you had your hand up as well.
Thanks.
No worries. Does it answer your question, by the way, Solomon?
Yeah, it does. It does. Thanks.
You're mute, John. I can't hear.
So you sort of answered my question a bit from your response to Solomon. I'm just trying to get as much information as I can because I know that information is gold in this UK.
Yeah. Yes.
What you know may make a lot of difference
As
between
in,
you and someone else.
if I had known 10 years before now about this contract thing, and because I used to look at them like it's too risky, I don't want to do it, but really they don't have two heads. There's nothing too difficult in that thing. There is. Go on, John.
Okay, so my question is, for you to do this, you have to like get past the stage of looking for sponsorship. I just want to clarify that because right now I'm graduating in June, but I used to own a company in Nigeria and I used to do a lot of contracting in different ways, sourcing globally before the security wahala that made us run from Abuja to UK. So I'm really not new to drafting contracts and stuff like that. Or like I ran my company for 5 years before I moved down here. So right now I'm doing a master's degree in data science, specifically around solution architecting. That's the area I'm focusing on.
Solution architect, eh?
Yeah, that's the area I'm focusing on.
That's a lot of P's as a solution architect.
I never enter now.
I'm telling you that where you're going, there's pepper in the
I never enter. I'm still doing degree courses. My thesis are the right like this. And because I have 2 children, I've not really had that time to dedicate to get extra certifications. Though I've been getting myself familiar with, I've been taking AWS courses, GCP courses in data, in solutions, so that because I know sometimes an employer can say, prove that you know it. Before I get the certification, at least let me show that I know it, plus my data degree. And I'm hoping that should be enough. Prior to coming here, before I started my own company, I was doing tech sales for Konga, strategic partnership for Konga. So I used that to buff off my CV. And then I did like an internship here on AWS solution architecting too, because I told my school that my interest is in solutions. So for my industrial attachment, they attached me to a company that gave me, the project was basically solutions architecting, architect a solution for a call center. That's what I did. So I put it in my CV. But when I saw this topic, I was so interested because I wanted to know working independently has always been my thing. I wanted to know the things, like the steps I can take gradually, together. But from what you're saying now, what I understand is I need to go get past the stage of sponsorship first before I can even venture into this. Again, I need to show some sort of stability, like um, it should be like a 5 years term plan, because first you need to show some level of stability. Your income is steady before I can go beyond that and say, okay, let me go off contract. I just want you to. This is what I think I've heard so far.
Yeah.
Is it just if you could just clarify?
Okay, I think some people put a comment on earlier. Solomon seems to know a lot about this about this legal and visa listing. So do you want to help us out, Solomon?
Yes, I've passed through that phase, so I understand the process. So I came here as a student as well. So I from tier 4 to sponsorship that I got my so yeah, when you're, I think just to answer your question, yes, you need to pass that phase of sponsorship before you're able to contract, unless you have the global talent where you're not restricted, because on sponsorship you're tied to that company. You're not legally, you're not supposed to work for any other company except that company that's sponsoring you. Okay, so when you're doing contracting, it's not legal, it's not right. Okay, so even though one of the questions they will ask you first, like, are you on sponsorship visa? Before, like, that's the first question recruiter will ask you. Are you on visa? Once you say yes, that's the end of the call. Okay, so yeah, you need to pass that phase of sponsorship before you're able to start contracting, unless you have that visa like global talent that you're not restricted.
Thank you so much. I have to get back to writing my thesis now. I beg, I'm a tech sales, so I'm looking for direct solutions role, technical tech sales, solution architect, entry roles. I know that's not the platform. Make I just tell, I just
no, that's fine. I think even here we have to Yomi, this at least for everyone here, we need to find a way to network each other on LinkedIn, and someone like Abdurrahman that keeps getting, I'm sure it's probably not just him that keeps getting different roles on LinkedIn. You can and you can forward these roles to other people. Maybe have a, you said you have a WhatsApp group, right?
Uncle Abdullah Bego.
So forward these roles to the WhatsApp group. So other people who are interested can then call these recruiters to see, because this is how you help each other, really. And yeah, so but John, I don't want what Solomon to say, what Solomon just said, to put you down.
No.
If you can't do it now, doesn't mean you can't do it in the future.
No.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. Sorry to cut your line of short. Sorry. I want to disagree with what Mr. Solomon said about you having being here. I mean, what? How can I put it? Your sponsorship. For instance, I'm on a 5-year sponsorship visa, and currently, though I'm a dependent, my wife is the one that's working. So I currently registered my company here when I got an IT role with M&G. So what I first of all did was I submitted my resume to virtually 10 recruitment sites, CV libraries, Reed, Indeed. So that was why they keep on calling me. Even Total Jobs sent me data engineer every day. When I was even this job, this job that I'm doing with M&G, what actually happened was that I was skeptic initially, because I had to tell them that, look, they asked for a contract job, 6 months, and I told them that I don't like a 6-month job. if there's possibility of them extending it. So they gave me the award that they will extend it. It's more or less like a contract role, migration, application migration, and support for their Oracle applications. So because I've had vast experience working with Oracle EBS and Oracle Apex application development for a whole number of years throughout Africa and the Middle East. So I think that was what they checked on my LinkedIn, that they were able to call me. They checked my Indeed as well. That was why those guys were able, the recruiters were able to call me, and I had my interview. And when I passed through all these stages, what they just told me is that I need to register my company. I need to register a new company, or I operate under a parent company. So the accountancy firm that I spoke with, that they introduced me to, they gave me the benefits of the two. That's either okay, I registered my company, or I work. I mean, I get my pay slip under their parent firm. So I was now looking at it that I wanted a permanent role. That was what I was actually looking out for. But when it came, and it's, to me, it's okay. I could start from somewhere. Let me start from, so I registered my company. I've done everything. My HMRC, my virtually everything that was needed, I've done it. Even they've opened a free agent account for me. That's my account, my accountant, my account company, the account company that was running my account. They've opened these things, and I've collected my first pay, and it has been roller coaster. Though I keep in mind, like you rightly said, that everything I'm paying, my electricity bills, I'm currently doing AWS course as well. So on that's the solution architect. I'm also currently doing the course as well to add to my Oracle certifications as well. So all the subscription payments, my transportation, my feeding allowance, all those things, I run it through the company. I only give myself a monthly allowance of £2,000. Sorry, 3,000. Yeah, £3,000. So that was what I did per month. So it varies based on, that was what I intended to do. So I just want to disagree with what Mr. Solomon said, that we need to, you can get your
Right.
whatever company that whatever job that is coming up.
Admiral, can I come in?
Okay,
Sorry.
sir. Okay, no problem, no problem.
Okay.
Yeah, the reason
Solomon,
why you're
before you
able to
answer,
the
so that
reason
you
why
give me a
the
holistic
reason,
view.
sorry.
I said before you answer, you people will just give me, if I can just chip in some, so you people can like give me a holistic opinion, if it's okay.
Okay.
Let me just answer. Let me just answer Abdara, there you can take
Okay.
the floor. Yeah, the reason why you're able to do that, because you are dependent. You're not the main applicant, right?
Okay.
Yes,
Exactly.
that's
That was
just
what I
the
was going
reason.
to
Yeah,
ask.
Okay.
yeah. So if you're dependent, you're not restricted. You can do anything you want. But if you're the main applicant, that's when it becomes very
Okay.
tricky.
Okay. Thank you for the for spreading more, for
That's it.
shedding more light to that. I
You
appreciate
Yeah.
just clarified it. You just, because I was going to say I'm the primary person.
Yeah,
My
that's
husband
it.
is a dependent. And
Yes.
the
Another thing you can do that can work. If let's say you are the main applicant and you're dependent and you have the skill, you have the experience, you can be doing that, but it's not illegal stuff. It's not, but it's just because it's weak. You can be doing the contracting, but you register it under your dependent and have unrestricted access. So that's one way people do it.
exactly.
okay.
But
Yeah.
don't take
Again,
my word for it. But for doing it,
again,
make sure you keep it to yourself. Don't go and start making
okay,
noise
but
outside.
again,
So you
I'm
have
a
to
bit
be till
weary.
you get your paper. That's when you can come out to say anything. So you look as if it's your dependent that is doing it. So everything goes under the umbrella of your dependent and not yourself.
Okay. Again, I'm a bit weary. Because of what you're saying, Solomon. The work I have done here is the one I did through academic avenue, which is like like an industrial attachment to get work experience. So I've not really worked in the industry per se. I don't know if that makes sense. Like the work experience I've gotten here in the UK is actually working on a project for a company that was as a result of school attaching me to them.
Okay.
So so I've not really gotten like industry experience per se on my own. Now it's just now that I'm beginning to just apply. I've done a couple of interviews. I've done like 3 different interviews.
Okay.
And I think I've done application analyst, but I was told them clearly that my area of interest is in solutions. And the last solution architect solutions I did, direct solution consultants. I didn't know that if you're looking for a job, you're not supposed to tell them that you need sponsorship. That's what they told me. That I should have said I don't need. So when they asked me if I need sponsorship, I say yes.
No, you need to let them know that you need sponsorship. If you tell them you don't need, at the end of the day, it will still come up because there's no how they are going to recruit you without that. They are bound by law to make sure that. Yeah. So it's better you clarify it from the very start so you don't give anybody false hope or anything. Let them know that you need sponsorship. That's what you should be even focusing on. Go for a job that will able to sponsor you.
No. I know this for a fact. No one is going to employ you. Without checking your status in the country. If they do it, they'll put themselves in trouble. So every company will do it. Even the recruiter will do it on behalf of the company.
So are you saying when I was talking to the senior recruiter, he was like, you're really good for this role, you really know your stuff. Unfortunately, due to some company policy, we can't take you. So so I had to probe further, like, could you tell me why I'm not really qualified for this role? Because you already said that I'm good, ask the right questions, answer the right questions. I was like, oh, it's just a policy thing. Unfortunately, we can't sponsor you. So others were now saying that I shouldn't have said that. I should have said, oh, they should not worry, that I'll use post-study visa. Like whenever they ask me, whenever I'm doing interview, if they ask me, I should say, oh, that I don't need visa, that I will do post-study. And you are not saying that I should say that I need visa. I don't know.
They would. I think every recruiter.
Hello. Can I come in?
Hold on one second, Abdurrahman. I want to get through a couple of things before we carry, because there are some things I noted and I don't want to forget to say it. I just want to digress a slightly little bit. One of the things I want to mention is that as IT, especially within the IT space, you should constantly, well, not constantly, but at very good intervals, try to always update yourself in terms of certifications. And once you get your certification, ensure that you put it on your LinkedIn. Update your LinkedIn. Most of these certifications, AWS, GCP, and all that, they would give you like a link that you can put on the LinkedIn that recruiters can click on the link to see that you're verified. Truly you have this certification. So once you get it, ensure that you put it on your LinkedIn profile. And having said that, I think it was John when he was saying that she applied for a few places. Don't be discouraged by refusal letters and refusal emails. Don't be discouraged by them. When you get those emails, look at them. If they put in any explanation of why they refused you for an interview or whatever, take that, take the learnings from it, and go on to the next one. You can never do without getting these emails. It's impossible. But even though I did a placement, when I was applying at the time, when I was living here, I got lots and lots of rejection. I was talking to someone recently and I said maybe I fulfilled maybe 50 applications or 60 applications. But the truth is, I really don't know because there were a lot of applications. And unfortunately, one thing. Okay, fine. Next one. You're not the only company in the country. You go to the next one. In fact, I had an interview with a company. I graduated undergraduate around 2008, 2009. At the time, there was a global recession. There was this global 2008. At the time, the prime minister then was saying that they were prioritizing UK people. I had an interview with this company, and the company said that they are prioritizing. If you're not a citizen, even though I had, I could easily, it was automatic post-study visa, so I didn't have a problem at the time. But they basically said I cannot get a job, even though I had the interview. The interview was fine. The lady was happy, and she was like, "Oh, by the way, can I ask?" After the interview, I finished the interview, and she was like, "Can I ask?" And she was like, "Oh, that's I'm sorry, they can't take me because I'm not a British citizen. I wasn't a British citizen at the time." Fine. I moved on to the next job I got, paid 10K more than what these guys were paying. So please do not be discouraged by any refusal letter you get or emails. Take it as a learning point. Whatever they say, take it and go on to the next one. And someone, a motor should put in the chat that if you have experience apart from tech sales from Conga, and you have evidence that you can apply for global talent visa, you might want to talk to him or her. I don't know how that works, Joanne. And a motor show also is saying that there is a new trend we're seeing as recruitment firms are posted regularly on TikTok. Okay, I don't have TikTok. I don't know what goes on TikTok. So apparently recruiters are now using TikTok for their recruitment. So you might want to check TikTok for that. Okay, yeah, you can search tech contracting UK on TikTok, and there are lots of videos and recruitment. Okay, that's good. So I'm always saying the same thing. There are more videos from last year. Solomon, can you share your LinkedIn? Someone's asking for it. Forisha is asking for your LinkedIn. Temitayo is saying most organizations prefer you work for a period of months before they sponsor you. Always advisable to first get in the door before asking for sponsorship. Yeah, that's possible.
Yeah, once you're on post-study, you're not restricted, so you can work without sponsorship. So that's different. Yeah, I think if you're on post-study, you don't need like sponsorship.
Yeah.
Okay, so at that point, whatever experience or whatever you're going for, yeah, get into the door, do the work. While you're doing the post-study, you look for sponsorship before that 2 years elapse. Okay, so that's the point of the post-study. So you can work, no restriction. So you can apply for any jobs, both sponsored or not sponsored.
Cool. Abdurrahman, you had your hand up earlier.
Yeah. What I wanted to ask has been answered.
Okay.
So I think I've seen what the motor show was actually saying. I've checked the TikTok this thing, and I think there are so many of it. I will explore it because I'm actually looking for the future of contracting. So immediately I finish this one, I can also type another one.
Cool. Afolayan is asking if there's anyone a business analyst and work as a contractor here. Is there anyone business analyst and work as a contractor? If you're a business analyst, please reach out to Afolayan. Yeah, but definitely 100%. I think there has to be a way of the group here networking, sending each other business opportunities. As you know, within IT, there are lots of spaces that you can work. You can work as a software developer, data engineer, data analyst, data modeler, an architect like myself, solution architect, product owner, project manager. A project manager is less techy anyway. Business analyst, cloud, cybersecurity. Someone said they work in cybersecurity, and the tester. In fact, most testers that you work with, and this is one of the things I think Nigeria, even though we are intelligent people, we are really lacking. Is to have most of its remote IT roles, especially where they are remote and there are people in Nigeria that can do these roles, and we can ship these roles to Nigeria. Testers, if you work in test, most of them are Indians that you see in the test space. In data, also you find quite a lot of Indians within the data space. So I think there's a lot that we can.
Yeah, even in development, like I've worked like in like global companies where most of the projects we do, we need like, sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, where most of the project we do works in teams and all of that. You found that 85% or 90% of the people working in the projects will be from India.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, like you hardly find Nigerians. Like I was like, it's not like those guys are really good, like that. Like we're better than them. But it's just that I think I don't know, somehow maybe the way they kind of have opportunities in trainings and all of that. So they're able
yeah,
to get all those stuff. You understand? Like most projects, I like so currently I work in Accenture, which is like contracting company. So I'm more of like not leadership role, but in a very good position where I have opportunities like to lead people and all of that. And most of the projects that I've worked with, even government projects here
yeah,
in the UK, like work for different MOD, HMRC, DWSP, all these top. You find that majority, 80% are Indians.
yeah,
I was like, this is what we can do, but you find that you hardly see one or two Nigerians you meet, like one or two, but every other person, Indians. I was like, we can actually do this. I bet I keep asking myself, what are the ways we can get people up to speed, get
yeah,
this experience, like to start getting these opportunities and everything. Like, but it just, I don't know, like I don't know if it's the government thing or it's something we can do from our side.
yeah.
Like it's still a
So
question. That I don't know how
okay,
to solve.
can I say something? My husband's nephew works with Specsavers. There's another Nigerian that just passed her exam, optometrics certification here in the UK. The exam they need to take to convert to UK opto people.
Mm.
So what he did was he just went to the management and told them that there's a Nigerian that he wants to recommend her. This lady passed her exam 3 weeks ago. Today she's working for Specsavers. Her starting salary is 80K.
Mm.
So the question is, when we did the attachment we did, there were two Indians I was the project manager. There were two Indians in my project team. They never contributed anything. They didn't contribute anything. They didn't have an idea of what we were doing. And these are people that said they were software engineers from their company, from their country before they came. I was shocked, but I know that if I go for an interview with them, because there are a lot of their people in recruitment, they are most likely to get a job before me.
Yeah.
Even if they don't know what they are doing.
Okay.
So I was asking them, I said, oh, there are people do a lot, like they have a community, just like we're in a community now. They have a community where if their companies, like the way you're working now, Solomon, if you have a position, you will come to the community and advertise it. And the people who feel are suitable, you take their CV. So I didn't know that in the UK, if somebody inside refers you, that you can bypass a lot of processes.
Yeah,
If you're referred already.
they give us incentive to recommend people to bring
So they
people
say that their
in.
people refer them, write reference note for them, and they don't even bother doing interview again. They just take them like that. Just like the way this.
No, they still go through. They still go through the interview process.
Let's
Like
go
they
through
just,
interview.
you still go
But
through the
if
interview process.
just
If let's say if the role needs, let's say, experience or qualification or certification, as long as those individuals have those meet those criteria, you understand? It's just that they won't go through the rigorous like process and all of that. You understand? They're a bit lenient because they are being referred by somebody that the company trusts. You understand?
so
They feel
the
that
guy was saying
you
that that's
recommending
how
them.
they get jobs.
Yeah.
The way we're in this community now, once there's like a vacancy, before they even post it on LinkedIn or anywhere, they will come to the community, tell people, give references for those who they feel they are qualified, and those people will just go for the interview according to them. So it's not like they are better than us. But are we giving ourselves the opportunity? Like this lady that just passed her exam, she's already good. She didn't, but they didn't, the Specsavers people didn't interview her. They just once they say, oh, this person referred you, based on this person's antecedent in the company, we believe you will be a good fit. Therefore, we're employing you. That's all. She didn't do anything extra. I had to confirm. So you're telling me you didn't interview? She said they didn't interview her. She just came in. So this person told us we are her classmate in Nigeria, and you're very brilliant. And because this person has left a good record, based on his reference, we are taking you in. That's how this lady got a job. Inspect Saver, no interview, nothing.
Yeah,
They
it's
even
very
asked,
possible.
they've even asked her if she needs sponsorship. She said no, that she's her husband's dependent. The husband is already working in care to get that they don't need. I was shocked. So my husband's cousin was now saying that in some organization, not all, that if you refer people like that and you have a good antecedent, they can take those people based on your referral. So our people, if not that this guy transition school, I don't know his real name, if not transition school that is pulling this community together, putting all the effort, getting us to volunteer, I don't think we've had that kind of communication or this platform the way the Indians do. We don't have. If not that this is happening, if not that he's putting so much effort in it, we do not give each other. And you know we Nigerians can be funny. If you carry person reference the person will go pull you for wahala. Wahala where you know even
I think the bottom line is let's as a community, fine, you want to get into a particular field, a particular area. As much as possible from your own part, get the basics, get the fundamentals first. If you need training, like Clara said, get to Udemy, 10 pounds, 12 pounds, you get courses, do those courses. If the ones that need certifications, do those certifications, AWS, GCP, or any other security certifications, get those. Just prepare yourself and wait for opportunities. Don't wait till, because if, like me now, if let's say I need to refer people now, like for my company, because like Essential is massive. Like we recruit every day. Like we need people. Like I can't just go and bring somebody that you know you can't perform, because you have to perform, because we are a contracting company. We are working for clients. You can't put somebody in the face of clients when that person cannot deliver, because the reputation of yourself, your company, and all it is on the line. So you want to ensure that you bring in somebody that at least have the basics, even though that person, at some point, the person will need some development, some training, but at least get the basics, okay? Get the fundamentals, you understand? Which, from IT perspective, they are really available. Put them in anything, just get that fundamental training and all of that, get those certifications, because here they really value all the certifications for all those stuff. It really matters. And one of those things, those Indians, they really take advantage of. They do certifications. Sometimes, even though anyhow they get that certification, get the knowledge, be good at what you do. Like even like I've contracts for the banks. You found that those people doing contracting for banks, they just recycle themselves. And you kind of mention the relationship. Once you maintain good relationship, rather you can move from banks to banks, from Lloyds to Barclays to you just keep moving, doing the same thing. All of them they deploy the same technology. So you find that the same technology you already know in this bank, you can just move, and as you move, that's how your pay increases. Like that's how people just do. Like so, but you need to know what you're doing. You can't just kind of walk your way without knowing your stuff. So the basics, get the basics first. I think we just need more platform where people can train, people can upskill, people can develop themselves. The opportunities are there. Like this UK, there are a lot of opportunities around. UK is an environment that values, I'll say, the value skills, your experience, your skills, you are compensated. It's not like no man. Like you need to know your stuff. And once you know your stuff, you will be rewarded for that. That's what I keep telling people. Like there's no two ways. Like just know your stuff and the opportunities are there. Even if you're in a company, like you can grow. You want to know yourself, you want to leave, you tell them you want to leave. The fact that you're a very valuable person, they will tell you how much do you want. Like you see, negotiating your salary or your this thing, like you want increment, or you go get another job somewhere, you bring it to the table like you're leaving. They will say they will match that times 2 or give you something that worth more than that new opportunities. And that's how the system works. Okay,
Yeah.
but the fundamentals, like Carol said, at least get that fundamentals.
Yeah, that's totally right. Thanks, Solomon and John. Abdurrahman, you had your hand up earlier on.
No. Someone made mention about CS clearance. I would like us to talk about it because for me, that actually cost me a lot of jobs, a lot of interviews that I've passed it to the last stage, that even done facial interviews, and it's not just small paid job, pays like £100 something thousand per annum. But at the end of the day, do you have a security clearance?
Security clearance.
No, I'm sorry, we can't get you.
Yeah,
Those
I can talk on that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go
security
on.
clearance is very important if you can get it. Try as much as possible to get it. But the way you get security clearance, you can't just wake up and say you want to get security clearance. Security clearance you get through sponsorship, just like the way you get visa. So the company, let's say if you're using a third party agency or whatever, that company need to apply on your behalf. So they need to apply for you. So they'll set up the whole process. But you'll be the one that will go through the entire process, but they need to sponsor, they'll be like your sponsor, just like Visa. So once you get that, because for you to work as a contractor in most of this government work, like Ministry of Defense, HMRC, all this top government work, you need to be security cleared. It's not like all the jobs, there are some strategic positions or roles. Like my job, for instance, like most of the work I do, like if you're not security cleared, you can't touch them. You understand? So you need to have that security clearance. And once you get security clearance, it's big bonus. Like it's a big plus. Like you are in high demand. So if you have opportunity in any way you're working, you have opportunity to apply for that security clearance and you get it, please go for it. Because even if you get it with one sponsor, you move to another company, you can just transfer. Like the way they do it is just transfer. Once you get it once, you just make transfer. The process is seamless. Okay. And like you are not demand once you're able to get it. Okay. But it's not something you wake up and you want to do by yourself. A company needs to sponsor you. So you need to work for, even if you're a contractor, you need to work for a company that they have the opportunity to apply for you on your behalf. So that's how it works. If that makes sense.
Thanks, Solomon. Femi Royal.
Yeah, just to ask again, Solomon, on this security clearance thing, because I think I've been on this same table a couple of times. If, for example, you're not sponsored and maybe you have the freedom to not work with someone, and you're probably on a global talent visa, for example, can you like apply yourself? Because I have a couple of friends who they even say that their levels, some are level, I think, I don't know, maybe level 5, level 7. I don't know how they categorize it. But my own question is, if you're on global talent visa, for example, you're not being sponsored by a company per se, can you apply for yourself, or you have to like work with a company that's going to apply for you?
Just like I said, you need to work for a company that will apply for you. So that's the process and that's the standard. The security clearance, they have like different categories of security clearance. So we have the SC, which is the security clearance, and the minimum requirement. There's requirement for that. You have to be in the country for minimum of 5 years. Okay. Without traveling more than 6 months. If you leave the country for more than 6 months, you're not qualified within that 5 years. So you have to start all over again. Okay, so the requirements are very strict. They have DV, which is like 10 years. That one is even more stricter than SC. So there are different categories. And like I said, a company needs to sponsor you. You can't sponsor yourself. Sorry, it doesn't work that way with security clearance.
Sure. Thanks. Is there anyone else that has a question? I think okay. Is there anyone else that has any other question? It's 9:30 now, so
Yeah.
Anyone else with a question? I think we've treated everything in the chat. Is there anyone else that maybe sent something that they felt wasn't treated, or they needed a bit more clarification on something? No, okay. So I think well, Yomi said that there's a group, WhatsApp group or something, but definitely one thing that we need to do well is networking and also passing jobs to each other. Or there are lots of tech space is quite wide, and there are lots of opportunities there. So it'll be good if these opportunities are being passed amongst us. At least let people know, okay, they're looking for this, or someone like Abdul Rahman or others that may get approached by recruiters. Let them know that, okay, you may have someone who knows how to do it. And even some recruiters pay you a fee if you refer someone to them and the person gets the job. They pay like £500 or £1,000 or something like that. You get a fee. So yeah, let's try to help each other and help each other to grow. I think this is actually a very good initiative, and we probably should do more of it. So in terms of WhatsApp, linking, networking, and all that, I'm going to leave that to Yomi to go forward. But other than that, if there's no other question, I'd like to say thank you guys for joining and being interactive. Thank you all. Yomi, over to you.
Okay. Hello. Yeah. All right. So I think thank you very much, Kyle. Really appreciate your time and commitment to this, and I'm definitely sure everyone has learned one or two things from this session. If there are any questions, any other thing that you probably need to ask, Kyle, if you don't mind, can I share your LinkedIn profile on the group? So
that's right.
All right. So I would definitely share the LinkedIn profile. The recording as well, I would have that shared across on the group so that everyone will be able to have access. Thank you very much, guys, and have a wonderful evening. Please, let's as well celebrate Carol. It's been amazing. Carol is a very busy person.
Please,
Thanks, guys.
Can you share the group?
Yeah, reach out to me on Twitter, Mr. Yomi, MISTRYOMI.
Okay.
Yeah, just reach out to me. I'll send you the link. All right, have a wonderful evening, guys. Bye.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for watching.
All right, cheers. Bye, bye, bye.
Thank you, guys.